You should be like here. Right here from your face. She were here.
Okay, so we chose to do our report on BobKat Liquors. I actually work here. It's a small family-owned liquor store in Deptford. It was established in 1973. And the hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sundays, 11 to 6. These are pretty flexible hours, in my opinion. Usually most places aren't even open on Sundays, but and you can't actually sell liquor past 10, so there's no point of being open any later than that. You can only sell beer and wine past 10. But I thought it would be good to come in here because we have easy access to my managers. The owners are actually Bob and Kathy. That's where BobKat comes from. But the owners that are there every day are their son and daughter-in-law. So really the owners are never in. They only come in around like holidays and it's insanely busy and stuff like that. But so my actual bosses handle everything. They handle all the inventory. They're there every day, so they actually even work the cash register when needed. They help put orders away as well. They basically do everything that any of the other employees would do too. So,
So identifying the problems, we had a couple different problems that we identified. Staff is constantly in and out. Like there's constant turnover of people like leaving, let's say for school, and then coming back in the summertime, and then there's an inflow and outflow just all the time. Another thing is inventory issues. There's obviously with liquor, there's a whole different types. You got like the wines, and then you have say vodkas and beers and things like that. There's just a lot to keep track of. And then overlapping shifts, there's a lot of times where like there's too many people there at the same time. And that's obviously a costly issue. You can't have 5 people there at the same time when you only need 2.
So for the as-is chart, this is something that would typically happen at the store if there's too many people working, or if someone is new and isn't trained properly. Or if the shelves aren't organized. So basically, if the shelves aren't organized or they're overcrowded, and you can't find exactly a bottle that you're looking for, or if you're just completely out of stock, the inventory isn't done well, then we don't have that bottle, or we have way too much of that certain product. So then in this case, maybe if also for the beer is a huge issue because it needs to be fresh, especially beer that's on tap, because we do have a growler station. So if that beer isn't in and out fast enough, it doesn't taste good. So you may be buying the wrong stuff. You may have to go to a different store. So it's wasting your own time. And the staff members aren't properly trained, or they're not paying attention. They're on their phone. They're not greeting you when you walk in the door. They're not giving you the help that you need. They should be asking you what you're looking for and where they can point you in the right direction. And once again, if they're not doing this, and they be buying the wrong things, and you need to go to a different store as well. So like I said, what should be happening is if you're looking for alcohol, they should greet you right when you walk in, and if the shelves are properly organized, then you'll be able to find what you're looking for immediately.
Right. So measurement. So measuring the employees who stay in the short period of time compared to the employees that come in the long run. Here's all like separating the two and kind of finding out where you can find like the loyal employees will they kind of stay there. Another thing is also measuring the inventory is very important in this market because there's a lot of specific like holidays and trends that a business should be like prepared for in terms of like inventory. So you really need to know like when there's a high demand, when to order in bulk, like and more really depends on that. And with the overlapping shift is basically it's another big problem in the workplace. And by measuring the traffic in the store weekly can help basically the manager have a better understanding of like the number of employees that should work each day. Like if it's like busy on the weekend, so put more people on that shift. If it's not, if it's like slow during the week, kind of like don't put too many people. But yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with analyzing the problems, and we're going to start with the changing of staff. And the reason that the staff changes so constantly is because there's a lot of students that are employed there. So, they may leave in the summer, leave in the winter, and then maybe get new summer jobs or new winter jobs and quit during the semester and stuff. And BobKat Liquors has to keep hiring new employees all the time, and this causes like a few problems, obviously. And new employees have to be shown the ropes, learn about the business, and maybe if it's their first job, they have to learn different things. And owner and customers can't build relationships with the employees. Like, even if I go into my own local Wawa, some of the employees know me, and you can talk to them, have a nice chat. And I don't think really that BobKat Liquors has this sort of dynamic because the employees are constantly changing, and even the owner can't develop relationships with his employees and maybe like build trust with them more so.
So then analyzing the problems for inventory. So inventory, like we mentioned with holidays, like for example, Cinco de Mayo is coming up. Obviously, a pretty big thing right now is like, say, Corona or margarita mix, things like that. Say if BobKat Liquors brings in 1,000 cases of Corona. Well, then what happens after Cinco de Mayo if only 500 cases are bought? Now you have 500 cases sitting in inventory. For what? First of all, now you're paying stock prices. All it's going to go bad eventually. So we need to obviously fix that so that you need to understand the actual demand for it. This way you don't overstock way too much. Obviously seasonal beverages too. So like you have summer ales and like winter lagers, darker beers versus like lighter beers, depending on the season. That's another thing, you bring in all that stuff and look for like a new product that's like, wow, it's going to be a huge hit. And then next thing you know, you sell maybe 2 cases of the 100 that you bought. Obviously that's a big loss, which happens a lot at BobKat. And then, so also with shift setting, back on the overlapping shifts, there were some times where they would have 6 to 8 people on the same shift. And when we were talking to the managers, they only said they needed about 4 at that time. Now you have double the amount of people that you need at that time. You are paying double the wage costs. That's, absurd when you could be paying less and probably still making the same amount of, production on like the sales way anyway. And so it's obviously also causes like a bad image. Say if a customer walks in and now because there's nothing to do, you have 2 employees, 3 employees sitting around talking, on their phones, doing this, not doing anything really for the job. It just creates a bad image in general, and customers may not come back.
So we took these problems and we said this can be able to satisfy customers. So we look at the 2 parts of the fishbone diagram. Both people, when you have employees that are unknowledgeable, in your inventory if you don't really have the right products in stock at the time. Another problem that can arise is from your environment, that if items aren't stocked in the right places, it's just a poor layout of the store, then you're going to have unhappy customers.
So one of the things we wanted to do was improve our relationship with the customers and have long-lasting relationships. And one of the things we decided that the store could do was having sale events, which would bring customer traffic in. So it would also give something customers to look forward to. Constructing a customer reward program as well. So if a customer spends a certain amount of money in a given period of time, they can get some kind of reward back. Even implementing something as simple as a store mascot, like just because employee turnover might be high. Introducing a mascot is something that could stay with the store for obviously a much longer period of time. And the mascot could walk around the store, sample out drinks, give out coupons, get customers involved, give them something to look forward to when they come in the store. And this was a pretty good example of a reward program by another liquor store, Southern Most Rewards. They get a $5 bonus when they sign up, and it's added to their account. And just implementing something along those lines. So specifically for employee turnover, you need to make sure, they need to make sure that they're hiring employees that are culturally fit for the job. So during the interview, it would be a good idea to show the candidate around, give them a feel for what goes on in the store. And hopefully the candidates that don't believe that they culturally fit with the store will just eliminate themselves. Offer competitive pay and benefits. So obviously because they're hiring students, if you can offer some kind of compensation or benefit for staying past the school semester, and giving encouragement and praise, just creating a positive work environment that might help employee turnover and keeping employees there for a little bit longer.
So to improve on their overstock measure, they could use previous year's sales, like say during Cinco de Mayo's coming up, if they only sold 10 cases of tequila on average for the last 3 years, there's no reason to buy 20 cases this year. Just have it sit around for no reason, so they can use that to their advantage. They can offer discounts on products that aren't selling or are overstocked because customers are usually more inclined to buy something if it's cheaper. And they can order products, especially if people come in and ask for it like more than once, instead of buying like a new product and anticipating that it's going to sell off the shelves. Just wait until there's a desire for it to make sure you have the market that it'll sell to. And to improve the overlapping shifts, they can create a more organized schedule where when one person's shift ends, another person's shift is starting, so they just have a constant number of employees in the store at one time instead of having people coming in and then all sitting around for an hour and they've got people leaving later. They can also find out the most efficient number of employees to work per shift. So obviously if it's a Monday night, they might not need 8 people. So that only schedule 4, but if it's during the holidays, obviously they need more people. So find out the most efficient number of people to have that are actually working at once and not just standing around, and to make the store run efficiently. And then there is a problem with so many new hires that need to be trained that it often results in an extra person being on the schedule just to train them. You can schedule them on slower days just to eliminate the need for an extra person to train them on a busier day when they can just have someone that's already working in the store that day train them when there's no one really there to buy anything.
So this is just our A3 report. It's just, simple, just overview summary of our PowerPoint, our report that we made. And it would help in like decision-making processes for whoever needed to fix these reports, like the owner. And yeah. And then the conclusion. So BobKat Liquors can do a better job of making the staff happy by giving employees more benefits and maybe giving them more incentives to stay and not leave during the summer or during the semester. And that would keep employees there and make them happier. And the inventory overstock could be fixed by using previous year sales to obviously help predict that new for the holidays and for other seasonals. And the overcrowded shifts can be fixed by setting a maximum number of employees per shift and creating a more organized schedule that both the employees and the owner can both agree on and talk and communicate for. And BobKat Liquors can fix these problems as long as they focus on them and really strive to try and get rid of them. I think their main problem is trying to communicate if they communicate with their customers and their employees, they can really strive to fix all these problems and really get rid of them.
So why people are quitting?
It's a lot of, like we said, a lot of students. So like even myself, I'm not gonna be working there this summer. I live like 45 minutes from here, so there's no reason for me to drive 45 minutes for $9 an hour. So yeah, I think if they were to focus on hiring like older people in their like mid-20s that are looking for maybe like a job that's just getting them into another job. Well, even that, I guess I wouldn't say that long either, but just students are not ever reliable for staying very long because they're always maybe if they transfer, if they're going home for the summer, it's just not a reliable employee.
Do they use any forecasting method?
They do what for
Forecasting
employees?
for their products.
Yeah, for their products they do. I just feel like they just need to improve them a little bit. They definitely forecast. I mean, without that, they wouldn't ever have any right inventory at all. But it's hard to forecast brand new products because there's no previous forecasting on it. Like for example, we just got a new type of a type of vodka that we've already had. It's a new flavor of it, and we just haven't been selling it at all. We've had like 3 cases of it, so it's hard at that rate because you don't know. We have no past forecasting on it, but now that is kind of just going to go to waste.
I feel like the owner is not really taking the ownership of the store, and that creates a lot of problems. That's what I see. The fundamental problem here is that the owner is not showing up, and letting the boss to take care of everything. But I don't know if it really works.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems. Anyway, I really like your as-is process chart. It was very good, and you gave good practical suggestions for the company. So
What's like the usual customer base, if not like road suits? There's like Deptford County.
Oh yeah, actually there's like no road students that come there at all. It's probably like 15 minutes from here. So since it's like Cox and Grayson, all that stuff over here, no one from school really goes. But it's a lot of Deptford counties. You got some homeless people in there. Yeah, I mean the main people that come in, I guess, kind of live in the area. It's no one from school.
Yeah, it's kind of like right near the Duffer Mall. So like, if you're gonna be leaving the Duffer Mall or something, and you need to pick something up for later, you're just kind of like, it's whatever the crowd is from that. I mean, you're passing it, and then you just kind of make a stop. So it's really definitely the townies and whoever goes to the mall. So.
okay, guys, thank you very much. Okay, now the last group.